opportunity, and thank you very much for the opportunity. And I am grateful to the organizers and Professor Emilia for the kind invitation. Today, I want to make a presentation about the media discourses of Srebrenica massacre. I want to share my screen. So yes, the topic of my presentation is titled Srebrenica Massacre in the Media, the Role of Words in an Unjust War. Briefly, what I want to do in this research was to analyze the media discourses about the Srebrenica massacre in 1995. We know that the media can be used as a tool to legitimize and delegitimize ideologies and actions. And during the Bosnian War in 1995, there was a genocidal killing of more than 8,000 Bosniak Muslims in the town of Srebrenica. This event can be defined as a systematic murder of more than 8,000 Muslims. And here I want to talk about this murder within the theoretical framework of just war theory. And using the just war theory as a theoretical framework, I attempt to argue that the Bosnian War can be defined as an unjust war. And following this argument, I want to focus on the media coverage of the Srebrenica massacre through using the methodology of critical discourse analysis. So the selected newspapers, I'm going to talk about them in the upcoming slides in the data selection and method section. So the content that I've chosen was including 4 dates. So July 11, 1995 was the date of the Srebrenica genocide, and so the 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th anniversaries of this event in July 11, 2005, 2010, 2015, and 2020 has been selected. So first of all, I want to give a brief historical background about the Bosnian War. The Bosnian War took place in Bosnia and Herzegovina between 1992 and 1995. The war is commonly seen as having started on April 1992, following a number of earlier violent incidents. It ended in 1995. And the main belligerents were the forces of Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina and those of Republic of Serbia, and also some states led by Croatia and Serbia. This war was part of the breakup of Yugoslavia. It was following the breakup of Yugoslavia. And what is the Srebrenica massacre? Srebrenica massacre is also known as Srebrenica genocide. It happened in on July 11, 1995. And in addition to thousands of killings, it also led to 20,000 civilians to be displaced from their homes. And this event can be defined as the worst episode of mass murder within Europe since World War II, and it helped galvanize the Western world to press for a ceasefire that ended 3 years of warfare on Bosnia's territory. And here I want to show an image that was provided by Associated Press. This is a suspected mass grave photo near the town of Srebrenica. It was taken 1 year after the event, and I took this from online Associated Press website. And the theoretical framework of my study is the just war theory. Just war theory aims to ensure that a war is morally justifiable through a series of criteria, all of which must be met for a war to be considered just. The principles of a just war originated with classical Greek and Roman philosophers like Plato and Cicero, and also Augustine and Thomas Aquinas add some philosophical dimension to this theory. According to this theory, there must be some justification in order for wars to resort to a war. The justification can be either theoretical or historical. The theoretical aspect is concerned with ethically justifying the war. The historical aspect deals with the historical body of rules or agreements that have applied in various wars across the ages. For instance, international agreements such as the Genoa and Hague Conventions are historical rules aimed at limiting certain kinds of warfare. So just war theory basically deals with how deals with the conditions of the war. So in order, why people go to war and under what kind of circumstances we can call this war as a just and legitimate incident. The theory of this study is the critical discourse analysis. This can, in fact, this is seen as both a theory and a methodological approach, and it emerged. The critical discourse analysis approach in late 1980s. And I want to talk briefly about the principles. The critical discourse analysis adopts the concept of social critique, and it integrates three related aspects. One is text or discourse immanent critique, which aims at discovering inconsistencies and dilemmas in the text structure. The second aspect is socio-diagnostic critique. It aims to demystify the manifest character of discursive practices. And the third aspect is future-related prospective critique, which seeks to contribute to the transformation and the improvement of communication. And in this method, there are three important models, which are known as the primary scholars in critical discourse analysis. The first this network of scholars emerged in late 1980s and early 1990s, we can say. And they were influenced by the sociologist workers like Pierre Bourdieu and Antonio Giddens. And we can say that the theoretical framework of critical CDA is eclectic. One important model is Van Dijk's, the Dutch scholar Toyn Van Dijk's socio-cognitive approach. The second model is Fairclough's model, and according to Fairclough, there are three dimensions for analysis: text analysis, processing analysis, and social analysis. And the third important scholar in critical discourse analysis is Ruth Wodak, and she has developed her own approach called discourse historical approach. And this approach provides a solid ground for looking at power dynamics in discursive practices. It's known as the Vienna School of Critical Discourse Analysis. And also in my PhD thesis, I used one Ruth Wodak's approach. But in this study, as this is a preliminary study, I didn't make a very detailed analysis. Because it has some particular steps, but I attempt to choose the discourse historical approach because it argues that the discourse the historical background is very important in shaping discourses. So I prefer to choose Ruth Wodak's model. Data under review and selection of data. As I said, I selected 4 years: 2005, 2010, 2015, and 20. 11th of July as 10th, 15th, 20th, and 20th and 25th anniversaries of the genocide. So how I chose the data, I picked two important keywords. One of them is genocide, the other is massacre, and I wrote them on Google, and then I chose the selection of dates for July 11 to July 12 for the selected years. So I chose only one day in the selected years on Google application. So Google lets us choose the dates for a search. So I chose the top 3 newspaper content ranking in Google search. So the top 3 that I see in the Google search. And I gathered a total number of 24 pieces of newspaper data. So 3 for every year, and there are 2 different keywords. So I collected 24 24 content, let's say. So the first date is 2005. So the top 3 content in Google ranking with the keyword massacre was the first one was, I'm not going to talk about the articles because it takes too much time, and the detailed analysis can be found in the full text, hopefully. So I'm going to talk about in a very short, the specific superficial the analysis of the media representation. For 2005, the first content was Al Jazeera website's content. The headline was Events Leading to Srebrenica Massacre. The second content again was published by Al Jazeera. It was talking about famous quotes about Srebrenica Massacre, and the third one was the British Guardian.com. The headline was making reference to former Secretary of Foreign Affairs of UK, Stroll, wrote to shame over Srebrenica Massacre. And here the data on, about genocide, the first content is from slate.com. Headline is from Srebrenica to Baghdad, but the genocide told us about intervention. The second from German publication Der Spiegel. The headline was A Dutch Peacekeeper Remembers Srebrenica. The third, again with the genocide keyword, was published by AlJazeera.com. Famous quotes about Srebrenica massacre. So some of them intersect with one another, as you see. The 2010 data, the Guardian.com. Srebrenica buries hundreds of massacre victims on the 15th anniversary of killings. Deutsche Welle was another publication that I collected. Thousands in Bosnia mourn at the anniversary of Srebrenica massacre. The third was belonging to France24.com. The headline was Tens of Thousands mark 15 years since massacre. And the genocide, with the keyword genocide, the chosen top 3 content for 2010, again, it's the same in the ranking. The second is from Al Jazeera, and the third from The Guardian. For 2015 date, as I said, I wrote on Google the massacre. For the July 11, 2015, the Deutsche Welle, NDTV.com, and Broker.com were having the top 3 contents on Google. So these are the headlines, and I'm going to talk about the genocide keywords. The 3, as I said, they intersect with some of the previous foundings. Al Jazeera, for this keyword, thousands commemorate victims of Srebrenica genocide. Another second content was again from the same newspaper, and the third one was NPR.org. The headline was 20 years after Srebrenica, anger over genocide still runs hot. And for the 2020 data, the data that I collected with the keyword massacre, the BBC.com, Bosnia Srebrenica massacre 25 years on in pictures. The other one is from France24.com, and the other one is from Deutsche Welle. And the last parts of the data, again with the second keyword genocide, for July 11, 2020 date from the Google search engine tools. I chose this specific day with the keyword genocide, and the top 3 content. One is from the Turkish website anatolianagency.com.tr. The headline was Italy commemorates 1995 Srebrenica genocide victims. So it was about Italy. And the second one again from AA.com.tr, Anatolian Agency, Pakistan remembers 1995 Srebrenica genocide victims. And the third one was again by Al Jazeera. So I want to use my time effectively, and I want to provide a brief analysis part, because as I said, this is the preliminary version. So I hope to make it better in the full paper. So the analysis, I made the brief analysis. Generally speaking, I can say that the online data analysis of the shows us that this massacre was represented as some sort of genocide. The the media portrays Serbs, many of them, as I said, as committing a war crime. And I selected only 2 of the articles, the content of the full articles, before I provided you the headlines. One of them was the article published by France 24. According to this article, Srebrenica Massacre was defined as the worst atrocity on European soil since World War II. And another article that I randomly selected, it was from Al Jazeera, and it regarded the massacre as a designated an act of genocide, as a designated act of genocide by the UN's War Crimes Court and the International Court of Justice. It is remembered as the darkest day in the bloody breakup of the Yugoslav Federation in the 1990s. So, as I said, there are, detailed models of critical discourse analysis, and I chose orthodox analysis because it sees the historical dimension is really important, and I think that the historical dimension of this event is really important. But as I said, there are lots of data, like 24 different articles, so I couldn't complete all the analysis. So I chose just 2 articles and how they define the massacre as the bloody day or the worst atrocity since World War II. So this also seems that they condemn the people, the forces who made this genocide in history. As concluding remarks, I can say that I attempted to analyze the Srebrenica media actors use their discourses to legitimize or delegitimize the events and ideologies. And I can say that the media actors delegitimized Serbia's aggression, and they all define this as a. And I want to thank you all for this opportunity, and I hope to make this study and research better for the full paper. Thanks a lot again.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was really very interesting. Maybe someone has a question.
Thank you.
No questions?